Peak is really good, and in case you haven't heard, Peak is a party game where you need to climb to the peak of the mountain with your friends, and in the way there's a bunch of biomes and you also need to look for food, so it makes the gameplay really nice. And originally the game was made in a month in a game jam, and later the team took around 3 to 4 months to actually polish the game. And that's pretty quick. You usually see most indie games make their game in around a year or even more. So it's really impressive to see a game this good made in this short amount of time. But is it possible to make it in an even shorter amount of time? Well, in this video I'll try to recreate Peak in one day, but I can't make every biome in the game, so I'll focus on the first one you see, and that's the shore. One of the first problems is that I'm going to make the game in Godot, and Peak was made in Unity. Why is that a problem, you might ask? Well, Godot isn't known for having a good physics engine, and the entire Peak character movement is basically a ragdoll. And I also never actually made a ragdoll in Godot, so it was my first time and I didn't know where to start. So I searched on YouTube and I found this really good tutorial by PyCode, and after changing it a bit, I made a first-person character controller. I also made it so the ants could actually climb and actually be useful instead of being just useless, I guess. Now I wanted to create the rocks the player could climb, so before that I created a ground texture and a rock texture. Now I needed to create the 3D models for the rocks. After I created these models, I wanted to create a way so the sand texture will always be displayed at the top of the rock, and the rock texture will always be down. And you can achieve this by using a triplanar shader. So after adding all of the textures, the models and the shaders, I got this. So I do think it looks a little strange, but I only got a day, so I can't waste time on this. Now this looks good enough, so I'll start making the map. So obviously for now it looks really bad, but I just wanted to see the direction of how the environment would look like, and I wanted to try the climbing. And after changing some values, now the priority was making the environment look good. I started off by adding some shadows and adding the water. I then remembered that there's trees in Peak, so I modeled one. But I didn't have enough time to actually texture it, so I used basic colors and I then added a normal texture with just noise. This got me in the direction I wanted, and the game was actually starting to look good. Then, to add even more detail, I wanted to create another rock that shaped kind of like an octagon, and hopefully it would add more detail to the map. And now my time was starting to run out, so I had to quickly make the campfire that's at the end of the mountain. And now, after a day, this is what I got. So yeah, this is the end of the video, and if you enjoyed, you can subscribe and leave a like, that always helps. And you can watch these two videos right here. And yeah, I know it's not technically peak, because it doesn't look like it and it doesn't play like it, and I didn't do a lot of things that in peak, but I only had a day and they had 5 months, so I'll take that as a win. But yeah, anyways, bye bye.